Another attorney commercial with big promises? Millions of dollars, practicing law 24 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Let's get rid of the smoke and mirrors. None of that really matters. What does matter? Having a medical doctor as your attorney. That matters.
Hey there, crew. Good morning. It is Thursday. It is February 12th. You are watching Peaks2Plains Weather. I am Chief Meteorologist Matt Meister. Welcome to Mornings with Meister here as we get our day underway. I picked up some new gear from Advanced Impressions yesterday. Got my new hat. Check it out. It has the Peaks2Plains Weather down here. I've also got my long sleeve shirt with the drop, and I love, the Peaks2Plains Weather on the side, crew. I'm digging it, so forgive me for wearing a hat and a t-shirt today, but I'm repping some of the new gear that I am excited about. And on the YouTube page of Peaks2Plains Weather, I shared a video introducing you to Tom and Karen Hune. They are the owners of what is a 30-year business in Colorado Springs. And I am so honored to partner with them, and we'll talk more about the merch in a little bit. A little bit of interesting weather here for the end of the week. We do have more waves of mountain snow on the way, and we do have one good chance east of the mountains for what will likely be some rain. I'll talk about that coming up. And an interesting pattern for next week. The good news is that we will continue to see waves moving over the western United States, which means there's at least going to be a chance of some moisture. In fact, I think the mountains will do pretty good next week. Locally, right now anyways, I'm kind of concerned about fire danger, and so that is not the best of news, as you know. Let's check out our forecast here, and I'll start off with where the temperatures were yesterday. 57 was the high in Colorado Springs, 61 for Pueblo. Springfield was also there. A little bit warmer up against the hills for Canyon City, Walsenburg, and Trinidad. We had more breezes up against the hills than we had for areas east, so some of us just had a stunning Wednesday out there. And then you see over the mountain areas, even where we were getting some snow, it wasn't that cold. Where the air is coming from the subtropics off the coast of California, it's just not a very cold weather pattern. So that's something to be aware of. We are starting off this morning much warmer than how we began yesterday by about 5 to 20 degrees from the eastern slopes eastward. Not that we're going to see that difference hold through the day today, but we are warmer. You can see the Canyon City and the Springs are in the 40s. Walsenburg, Trinidad in the 40s this morning. We're in the 20s along the Arkansas River when you get north of La Junta, kind of heading off to the northeast out toward Lyman, and lots of the mountain areas are in the 20s here this morning. So let's do a jump into our forecast here for the next couple of days. And I'm going to start off with Banjo's barometer for today. He's not going with that different of a day than yesterday, crew. He's ready to go on a walk again. Easy to understand 0 to 10 scale of if it's going to be nice or not. He's firing that baby up to an 8 again today. He is ready to roll for that. But let's talk about the changes that are on the way here. You can see a basin overnight getting some off and on snow showers. That is good news. I saw Aspen had more than 5 inches yesterday. I think the Summit County resorts, the reports coming in here this morning, probably not as high as that, but we do have more snow on the way today and some on the way again as we head through Friday, and particularly late Friday into Friday night over some of the mountain areas. And as we're starting to get on the camera picking up enough of the light of day there, you can see that it is still snowing. That's as waves are ejecting out ahead of this area of low pressure that's still off the coast of California. We'll get a little bit of a break here today, but there's another wave off to the southwest that when that gets here later on today will pick up the snow once again. We've had some passing clouds over the plains, and that has led to the temperatures being warmer than what we had this time yesterday. Let me walk you through today. In fact, I'm going to take you through Friday and into Saturday morning. So kind of do the front part of your extended forecast here, because this is going to be our best chance of some moisture here east of the mountains. Not so much as we head through today into tonight. I do think we'll maybe get a couple showers. They'll be light if they develop, mainly over the Palmer Divide and the plains north of Highway 50. They're not going to be all that exciting. I mean, you might see some snowflakes mix in up across Teller County and maybe the Palmer Divide, but that's not our best chance. Mountains continue to see some snow, then we'll get a little bit of a break here for a few hours as we head into early Friday before things start to ramp up again as we head into tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow is not going to be as warm as today, and it will be our best chance of moisture, especially as we hit the afternoon here. You see, by that time, we start to catch some snow showers over our local mountain areas and the higher terrain of the Pikes Peak region, maybe a rain-snow mix on the San Luis Valley floor, maybe catching some snow showers over some of the big mountain valleys. But as we head into Friday night, we get some what will be rain over the plains. And I think we'll have a southwest to northeast oriented band somewhere over the plains. It's probably off to the southeast of the Springs. It might hit Pueblo. And the more organized precip shield will be down here across southeastern Colorado as we head into early Saturday morning. You see, the mountains through Friday evening are getting some snow, and we might get some light accumulation across the Sangre de Cristos, maybe an inch on the grass for Woodland Park here as we head through Friday night. And if it's precipitating long enough over the Palmer Divide, maybe you see some snowflakes change over. I do think over Fisher's Peak, Raton Pass, some of the mountain areas west of Trinidad, you might catch a couple inches of snow. But here's the more organized precip shield I was talking about in the southeastern corner of the state. Then we'll get that out of here through the first part of the day on Saturday, and we end up with lots of sunshine. So how much more snow on the way for the mountain areas? Well, I think, we get a couple inches here and there through the day today. The better chances come Friday into Friday evening. And I think 2 to 5 inches additional on the way here. And that gets a lot of places up over 6 inches between the middle part of the week when it kind of started snowing and heading into the weekend. So that's great news for skiers. We need that. And then you see the model picking up here on the chance of some light snow showers over some of our local mountain communities as we head into Friday night, like I said. You melt that snow down over the mountain areas, we're talking maybe a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of liquid. That's good. And, spotty amounts of maybe 1/10 to a 1/4 inch here and there over the plains, especially wherever that southwest and northeast oriented band is. But we could get up to a 1/2 inch or so over the southeastern corner of the state with that precip shield that lasts into early Saturday morning. So that is a little bit of a different situation than we've had around here as of late, obviously. And good news to have some water on the way. As we wake up tomorrow morning, we'll mainly be in the 20s over some of the mountain areas. I think Alamosa drops into the teens. I don't think we have any 40s out there tomorrow because it's just not going to be as warm of a day. We'll pull the numbers back a little bit. Now, for mid-February standards, that's still not bad. Don't get me wrong. But you'll start to notice the clouds picking up in the afternoon. Temperatures will start to come down a little bit as we get that rain and snow to move across the area Friday night into Saturday. And, we don't get too far below freezing here. So, maybe we get some snowflakes mixing in. We'll see. But I think it's mainly going to be rain. We'll keep an eye on that for you. And then with that system getting out of here on Saturday, numbers by the back part of the day are bumping back up above what we'll have tomorrow. So we get back into the 60s for a lot of areas over the plains here as we move into the start of the weekend. So that's kind of the breakdown as of now here as we move toward our Friday and Saturday. So at least there's a chance of some moisture. Extended forecast for next week is pretty interesting, my friends. We will talk about that here coming up in just a little bit. And I do want to let you know that you can join me here on the show. I have a couple of links. Use that top one if you want to join here. I have a guest that's going to use that bottom one. But these are the same every day. So if you want to write them down, you can come be on the show with me here. I use a program called vmix to do my production stuff. And there are links that they provide. So you can put those into your browser on your phone and you can join me, or you could do it from a desktop as well. And, that's how when the weather is active, we are going to do our weather together. I'm going to have reports from you across the region. We're not going to put crews out on the roads when the winter weather is moving in. And, that keeps everybody safe. But we can do reports from all little nooks and crannies of southern Colorado. So that's how we want you to be part of the show. I'm going to take a short break here, and I will be back with a guest right after this. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Peaks to Plains.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
Alrighty, I am putting the headphones on because our guest is going to be joining me now, and he is at looks like his house this morning. Joining me from, I'm not sure of the order of these things, Ted. Is it the Broadmoor, Manitou, Pikes Peak Cog Railway, or do I have the order wrong?
No, you got the order right, and you can just go with Pikes Peak Cog Railway for short.
Okay. Well, I want to honor the branding. I'm a big brand person. I get that. Ted, thanks for joining me this morning. I appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to have you on to talk about, I found myself looking at Pikes Peak quite frequently, and I've had this sort of thing with myself about like, man, is this, because it's historically low snowpack over Colorado. How long have you been at the Cog Railway? Let's start with that to get some perspective.
So it'll be 8 years come April 30th.
Okay, so for you, is this the least snow that you have seen on Pikes Peak in your 8 years of being here?
Yeah, for me, it definitely is. And, I was talking with some of my guys yesterday. Lance Wheatley, our shop foreman, who's just celebrated his 40th year with us, even he said this is unprecedented in his 40 years of being at the railway.
So, there's some benefits with that. It's been easier to get the trains, up and down, right?
Oh yeah, no, it definitely helps our business, but we recognize what it means as we get further into the spring and into the summer. If it stays this dry,
Right.
What it could mean for the potential fire season coming up. And so, we, as much as we like being able to get up and down the mountain, we recognize we need the moisture as well.
Right. Let's talk about on a morning where, say we do get 6 inches to a foot of snow or something. Sometimes you can get more up there. What does that look like for your crew in trying to get guests up to 14,115 feet?
Yeah. So our guys, where they start to run into the snowpack for the most part, and usually it gets a little tougher there because you're getting deeper, and it depends on the consistency of the snow.
Right.
Is it light and fluffy, or is it heavy and wet? And the heavy and wet stuff, we have to take it a little slower. It just, our plow can't process it as fast as the light fluffy stuff. And so as they get up the track, they get up to an area about 6.5 miles up that we call Windy Point, and it's where we make a big turn and go on kind of on the backside of Pikes Peak from where we typically operate. And at that area, even though it's below the summit, you can actually get winds higher than on the summit. And so depending on what the snow is doing at that location, are we getting a lot of blowing snow, a lot of heavy drifting? They might sit there for a little bit just to get a gauge of what the weather's doing, what the snow's doing, and make sure it's safe for them to continue going up the mountain. Assuming it is, they'll go through that area, and they'll just keep plowing, and they'll stop. They'll kind of gauge the winds. We have policies in place for the safety of our customers. Right. One of those is how high are the winds. It's no fun to be up on Pikes Peak if the wind is 70 miles an hour sustained.
Right.
And so,
Right.
they'll be in contact with the Pikes Peak Highway as well, because the Pikes Peak Highway, they own and operate the Summit Visitor Center. And so, we both want to make sure that it's safe for our guests up on the summit. And so they work together with the highway road crew just to make sure that, everybody agrees that it's safe for people to be on the summit, safe for the building open, and just work through it. And we've got a bunch of experienced people who have seen a lot of different snows, heavy
Right.
snows, light snows, and they know when it's safe to be up there, and they always keep customer and employee safety top of mind, and that's
Sure.
how they make their decision on, even if we can get the snowplow up to the summit, it might not be safe for guests to be up
Right.
there, and so we'll make the call, and then based on that, we'll go as high as we safely can go. At least try to give the customers a good view, even if we can't get all the way to the top.
And how pretty is it on a morning where it snows and you are, you're sort of even being away from like the road, different than the Pikes Peak Highway. I think there's something about where the cog is that kind of provides this, sort of remote, magical experience that I would guess you hear from people that they really, really enjoy, particularly on those mornings where there's like untouched snow.
It's absolutely beautiful. You get up into some remote parts of Pikes Peak. If you've been up the bar trail, where we stay fairly close to the bar trail. And so, if you've been up that, you kind of have a sense for what it's like when you get out into those kind of more remote parts, and just seeing the untouched snow, it's incredibly beautiful. And one of my most memorable experiences was right after I think it was our first season after we reopened. We'd gotten our first heavy snowfall, and I went up on our snowplow, and we got up to the summit. And I mean, we were the only people up there. The only sound was just the hum of the diesel engine on the train. And, it was just kind of like being on the moon almost. There was no
Ah,
sound up there. And it was a picture perfect clear day after a heavy snow, and could see all the way up to DIA. And
oh, that's awesome.
it's one of my favorite memories. So.
That's really, really cool. Let's talk about some of the stuff that you guys have done over the last 5 years. If there's someone that's lived here for a long time, the ride is a little bit different now than it was maybe a decade ago because of some of the improvements you've made. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so as you know, back from October 2017 through May of 2021, we were closed doing about $100 million renovation. We completely redid all our track infrastructure, bought a couple new trains, refurbished 4 trains that we had in our fleet. And what I tell people is the ride, the views, all that is still the same. We've just modernized our infrastructure, modernized our equipment. We've upgraded our depot facilities to provide for a better customer experience at the depot. We've upgraded our ticketing system. And so, we brought the railroad into the 21st century, and we're very happy with everything that we've done.
That's awesome. Let's talk about, as we're looking at the depot here, what are some of the upgrades that you guys have made?
So, if you're just looking at that shot there, the depot, over on the left-hand side, that's what we call track 2. Previously, we used to just have one track there at the depot, and, the trains would come and go, and you'd have 250 to 300 people all on that right side there where that platform is. You'd have 250 to 300 waiting to get on, and 250 to 300 coming back.
Right.
And so you'd just have people crammed in there like sardines. And then, we had very limited restroom facilities. So, you have that many people, and, everybody's been on the train for an hour and 10 minutes coming down the mountain.
Nature calls, yeah.
Yeah, nature calls. And so you'd have, extremely long lines of people wanting to go to the restroom, people
Yep.
wanting to get merch at the gift shop.
Sure.
And so everything that we did around the depot was really to try to spread things out as much as we could in the tight, compact area that we have.
Right.
And so then we added, there's a pedestrian bridge that goes over the top. That's one of my favorite spots in the whole area, especially on a really nice day, because you can go up there, and if you look back to the east, you can look out into Colorado Springs. And obviously, if you look back to the west there, you can look up at the Manitou Incline and Gog and Magog up there. And so it's just we call it our special little corner of the world there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And there's not a lot of room back there in that sort of west little edge of Manitou where you guys are. So you've done a great job with the space. I think it's fantastic. You guys are running when the weather allows. You're running trains 365, right?
Yeah, so this time of year, January and February, we don't run trains on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
But other than that, Thursday to Monday, we're running, trying to get people up Pikes Peak.
Nice. If someone wants to check it out, if they haven't been for a while, they got some people coming into town and they want to take a ride on the COG, how can they get tickets and how can they learn what the schedule is?
Yeah, go to cograilway.com, click on the purchase tickets button. It'll pull up our whole schedule. Right now, our schedule's open through Labor Day. So, even if you're looking to go this summer, you got friends coming in town, go on, get your tickets. I highly recommend doing it online. If you wait till the last minute and try to come up to the depot and purchase tickets there, we might be sold out. We're pretty unique. We get asked all the time, well, can't you just add another car to the train? And no, unfortunately, we can't do that. So,
Right.
Our trains are designed for specific capacity.
Sure.
And so to get up the mountain, so we highly encourage buying tickets in advance.
Well, it's one of my favorite things to do, Ted. You and the crew just make it such a great visitor experience as well. So thanks for starting your morning off with me. I appreciate it. And thanks for joining Peaks2Plains Weather.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And Matt, this is great. My wife and I, we both enjoy the app, and you provide a great service to Southern Colorado.
Well, thank you so much. That's kind of you to say. That's Ted Johnston, ladies and gentlemen, from the Pikes Peak, Broadmoor, Manitou Springs, Pikes Peak, COG Railway. He is such a good dude. I'm a big fan of his, and it was very nice of him to join me here this morning. If you want to join the show, you can, crew. We can talk about stuff just like Ted did. I'm going to leave these up here for a little bit as we do some social media things here. Mike Parker, said that he heard Banjo. Whoops, that's not what we wanted. That he heard Banjo try to come on for his appearance for the Banjo Barometer. And yeah, he did. What did I just do there? Whoops. That's not something I wanted to do. There we go. That was a mistake on my part. I pushed the wrong button. Sorry about that. Let's see what we've got going on here early this morning. Jeremy says he's got a place in Kuchara. One thing I've always appreciated about you is that you covered our area as well. You're very welcome for that. Jeremy. And Mike says Banjo getting ready for his meter appearance. And I love this. We had, where did that go? Somebody said, it looks like I lost it, that the COG was one of their top 10 things that they have ever done in their life. I missed that this morning. Oh, here we go. Is Stacy. Stacy Westrick says, good morning, Matt. We love the COG. It ranks as one of the top 10 things I've done. Thank you. So, okay, now I am going to talk about our extended forecast. I'm going to take you into next week. We talked about through Saturday, and now I'm going to run you beyond that and into the back part of the extended forecast here, because how things change up into next week is a little bit interesting. And so I'm going to head back over to the weather wall here. We're going to start off with the extended forecast for Colorado Springs, for Pueblo, for Woodland Park, and then we're going to kind of drill down into what is driving some of these changes here. So I've got our chance of showers on Friday. We recover as we head over the weekend. We get some warm days here, Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. This is going to be a fire and ice situation across Colorado, and I'll talk about what I mean here coming up in a little bit. And I think for the late part of next week, we start to see the temperatures cool down. Pueblo, we could get some rain showers late Friday, more so Friday night probably. And you see the wind here showing up on Tuesday and Wednesday and probably Monday as well. Locally, wind is going to be an issue next week, particularly on Tuesday. We may see some rain and snow mix tomorrow afternoon over Woodland Park, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of slight snow accumulation on Friday evening. But let's talk about next week. So here's Sunday morning. Got this ridge of high pressure. That's why the temperatures are going back up. But see this big dip in the jet stream off the coast of California? This one is a little bit different than the one that will move through here over the next couple of days, because this one has a stronger jet stream with it. And this thing, when it gets close to Colorado here, starts kind of nosing into the southwestern U.S. If it does it quick enough on Monday, we might start to see the wind pick up. But certainly as we head into Tuesday, and this thing is nosing into Colorado, we are going to get windy. Now I'm going to show you something here. If you take this jet streak and you kind of split it in half long ways, and then you grab the middle of it and you made another line, so kind of a cross, do that in your head. What we call the left front quadrant of these jet streaks is an area of sinking air. So this is a pattern when we see this where we're like, ooh, that's a wind maker down the eastern slopes of the mountains and really even over the valleys and whatnot as well. So I think Tuesday has the potential to be a really, really high fire danger day. I mean, there may easily be some wind gusts over 55 miles per hour. We'll watch that. And then with the jet streak in the vicinity here on Wednesday, I think we're still kind of windy. See how we're sitting in a trough here? That's going to bring several rounds of snow to the mountains of Colorado. We've got more waves here coming in from the west. This is very different than how the pattern has been for the last couple of months, with series of waves and a big sort of general trough here over the western U.S. Each one of these will bring some snow to the ski resorts. Here's another potentially windy situation as we head into the late part of next week. And so, you know, it's going to be a different situation around here. Watch the interior mountains of the western U.S. I'm just running the computer model here through the late part of next week, and several rounds of snow on the way to Colorado's high country. That's good news, but notice it's not showing anything east of the mountains, because our big story as of now looks like it's going to be wind. I'm running this. Oh, I didn't take my live thing off. I meant to. Sorry about that, but somebody can join if you want. But what I want you to notice here on this is a large scale model. As we head into early next week, it's picking up on that wind pattern. And we're probably going to see red flag warnings issued. Here's what the National Weather Service, some of the criteria that they use to issue a red flag warning. And you have to have low humidity, you have to have dry conditions at the surface, you have to have strong wind gusts, and it has to last for a long time. And I think as we head into next week, we are going to see those things. My friends at the Weather Service are starting a new program this year where they have what they call particularly dangerous situation, PDS red flag warnings. And the concept with that is to try to say, hey, this is on the higher end of things. This is critical fire weather conditions. It's possible Tuesday we might see one of those issued. We'll have to see about that. So, crew, it was great to talk to Ted here today. Again, I'm wearing my new merch that I picked up yesterday from my friends at Advanced Impressions. And I want to close today with a word from them. So let's get to know Advanced Impressions. I'm in the shop at Advanced Impressions. If you've been to the Peaks2Plains Weather merchandise store, you're working with Advanced Impressions, and I'm so honored to partner with them, a locally owned, family-owned business. I'm here at one of their embroidery machines. What's cool about what they do? One custom piece to thousands. They can take care of everything. Let's meet Tom and Karen and learn about their 30-year business here in Colorado Springs.
We started out as a bulk printing company, so we did mostly screen printing at the time, so we were always chasing the big orders. Yep. You know, it keeps cost a little lower when you can do big bulk orders, but nowadays the focus is on demand. You know, COVID drove us into the digital printing market. We weren't in it before that. And once we brought in digital printing, it really opened the doors for the no minimums.
You can cater to smaller companies, even someone who wants to do a shirt for their dad. Happy anniversary for mom and dad, or yep. You know, something funny for, you know, a co-worker or something that we're able to do it.
Screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, laser etching, with the ability to do no minimums with our digital printing process, keeps costs down. Doing that, as well as fast delivery, because we can do it in-house.
And I love the web store options for folks that need to have a club. You don't want to track down every person who wants to have an order. What size do they need? and how many of what do they want, and now I have to go back and collect their money. Having a web store takes that all out of their hand, and then just gets them the product that they need at the end.
What we typically like to do is sit with a client at the front desk and get a feel for where they're at and what they have, what their goals are for their business and their appearance. We have in-house art staff here that can help. If they don't have a logo, we can do logo design. If they do have a logo, we can take that logo into multiple applications then for embroidery, screen printing, or digital printing, and we'll sit there and figure that out with them. We'll go over their apparel options with them. What do they want to look like? How do they want to portray themselves? We have thousands of options to pick from for apparel. So our staff will help nail that down to whatever few items they want to do. And then we, from there, get an order in our system. We mock it up. We send them a proof for approval.
Yep.
Once they're happy with that, they just sign off on it and we go straight to production. In 7 to 10 days, it's in their hands.
I'm Karen Hewen.
And I'm Tom Hewen.
We're Advanced Impressions. You have an image, wear it.
All right, they are fantastic. They, like I said, they do my web store here for Peaks2Plains Weather. And if you'd like to purchase some merchandise and support Peaks2Plains, you can do so under the merch tab on the website there up in the top right-hand corner. This takes you right to the web store for Peaks2Plains Weather that they were talking about in their broadcast here. And Peaks2Plains Weather a little bit slow and loading up this morning, so that's okay. Maybe I need to fix something. That's probably the case. I got to fix something every day, let me tell you. Okay, I'm going to show you here as we get out the door some current conditions here early this morning. After I check out what's happening at Breck, peak number 9 here for the next several days. You can see we've got sort of evolving snow chances as there will be waves of snow. We'll see a little bit of a break today into the overnight. Not that there won't be a little bit here or there, but we get another major wave as we move through tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening over some of the mountain areas. Locally, here's what we've got early this morning. As we get our day underway here, you can see that we've got temperatures ranging from 46 in Walsenburg, where there's a little bit of a breeze, into the low 20s in some areas. So just kind of depends where you are. As we move through the balance of our Thursday, temperatures will warm up. Our high temperatures across the region today end up around 60 in the Springs, mid to upper 60s over the southeastern plains. And there's a slight chance of some showers late, but we get a better chance coming in tomorrow. Remember, anytime you want the forecast for where you are, you can download the Peaks2Plains Weather app, and please do me a favor and share it with your friends if you're enjoying what I'm doing, if you find some value, particularly when the weather gets nasty around here. I'm going to be on live covering this stuff. You are going to help me cover it. Please go ahead and write these down. These are 2 links here. That bottom one is vmix.at, and then it's 1 small r, big J, big S. That's a small L, and then a 1, and you can join me live here on the show. You're welcome to do that any day. We can talk about stuff. I can answer your questions, and we can get, have a little bit of fun with Colorado's weather, and why not? Sometimes it's not so fun here, so sometimes we need to buckle down together, and that's what Peaks2Plains Weather is kind of all about. So my friends, have a great day. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow morning on Mornings with Meister.